Willie D Live.
Family, I want to talk about this young woman who gave birth to a baby and took the baby outside on the porch and pretended to find the baby. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Check it out.
I'm happy now. I was just scared at first, but.
And how old are you?
16.
Peyton Peoples didn't even know she was pregnant until it was happening on Thanksgiving.
I was laying in bed, my water had broke, and I went in the bathroom, and I had Paxton. And when let me go into depth a little more.
3 pushes into the toilet, and there he was. Peyton's mom, Kyra, was at a family member's Peyton home alone.
I cleaned him off, and then I looked up on TikTok how to cut my umbilical cord, and I cut the cord.
She was terrified and spun a tale that someone dumped the baby on the porch of her family's West Side Detroit home. He was never on the porch.
Huh? Why on my porch? That's what I kept asking. Why on my porch? Why my porch? Why my porch?
Kyra believed her daughter. They're close. Posting this on social media, and it spread everywhere. They called 911. Detroit police then brought Peyton into Children's Hospital downtown Detroit to be ruled out as the mom. That's when Peyton fessed up. Little Paxton was hers.
It was already hard for her to raise us, so it was like, that's just adding another burden on her back, and I didn't want to do that.
The baby is always a blessing. It was just that my baby went through this by herself.
Kyra, a single mom to 4 kids. Money was already tight, and now a grandbaby.
We're going to figure it out. I'm going to keep going to work. She's going back to school. I'm going to do midnights. She's going to go to school in the day. We're going to switch off.
We're going to figure it out. I ain't got no problem with that. Let me tell you something, fam. Life happens. Life happens. We don't always make the best choices. Life happens. First thing come to your mind is, you know what? She knew the consequences of her actions. What was she laying up in bed for with her legs open in the first place? Why she allowed, what is she doing 16 years old having sex in the first place? You know, that's what our immediate response is when we see something like this, because it's frustrating to see so many youngsters make the same mistake over and over and over and over and over again, right? That there's been plenty of warnings, plenty of signs, plenty of information out there. They know the warnings, right? They know what's out there. And yet young people still make these same type of mistakes. Family, I think the mother is going through it enough already. That mom said she's a single mother of 4, she's working. And now she may as well be a single mother of 5 because those grandbabies are heavy lifting. Grandbabies are heavy lifting. And she said, yeah, a child is a blessing, right? A child is a blessing, but a child can leave you stressing also, right? A child, if we're gonna keep it a buck, let's keep it a buck. A child can be a burden and a blessing. A burden when you got 4 miles to 5 miles to feed already, and now you got a 6 mouth, and now you got young children. Now you got an even younger kid that somebody got to take care of. Somebody got to watch over. You got to spend money on. Probably gonna need a daycare or something at some point. It's more money, more clothes, more doctor visits. More insurance. It's a lot, right? So we don't want to gloss over that. We don't want to gloss over that. It is very costly to bring a child into this world at a social disadvantage. And when you don't have money, because money make the world go round, when you don't have money and you bring a child into this world, you are bringing that child into this world at a social disadvantage. This is why oftentimes when kids come to the world at social disadvantage, they ain't got it. They end up going out there and get it. This is why young men like myself included went out there at 14, 15 years old, trying to get it, trying to fill the shoes that my daddy was supposed to be wearing, right? So I'm out here making these moves and doing this and that, and now I got a record, I got a jacket, because I'm out here trying to do the job of a grown man when I should just be a young man living my life, just having fun, kicking it with my friends, getting my schoolwork done, and, dreaming and having aspirations and stuff like that. But I'm out here making grown man moves and suffering grown man consequences. So make no mistake, when you bring a child into this world and you ain't got no bread, you ain't got no plan, no financial plan, you're bringing your child into the world at a social disadvantage. And they can end up in the streets trying to get it. It's human nature to want nice things. It's human nature to feel offended when somebody say bad things about you and talk about your clothes and talk about how you got the same shoes on and you got a hole in your shoe and, your shirt dingy and, your house, look at the house y'all live in. You got to get off the school bus a block away, 2 blocks away, because you don't want nobody to see the house that you're walking inside of. Having said all of that, man, there ain't no manuscript for parenting. Well, we got some things that we know that works, right? We got some things that we know that work, but it don't always work out like that. It don't always work out. So as parents, we do the best that we can. I'm sure she told her daughter about, being hot, being fast. I'm sure she told her. And, she jumped out there anyway. She jumped out there anyway. She ain't the first and she won't be the last. That means that she discarded her daughter? No. That means that I told you about this. I warned you about this. So now, our lives have been altered. So now we're going to have to make some adjustments. We're going to have to make some adjustments. And you ain't going to be able to go to the dance like you wanted to go to the dance. You ain't going to be able to go to all the dances. You ain't going to be able to hang out with your friends. You ain't going to be able to participate in this and that and do what your friends do and stuff. You got a baby to raise. So dream deferred, at least for now. In fact, dream ain't necessarily got to be deferred, but it ain't going to go exactly like you planned it because you have a baby to raise. So there ain't no, one size fits all for these type of situations. You teach your child the best, you give them the game, and most importantly, you love on them. You let them know that, look, I'm with you. I got your back. I'll always be here to support you. When you're doing right, I'm with you. If you do wrong, I'm with you, but I'm going to put you in your place and I'm going to let you know you're wrong. But we're going to work, no matter what happened, we're going to get through it together. We're going to work it out together. I'm here for you. You let them know what you expect from them. That way, when they go out into the world and they do certain things, which they're not gonna always be on code. You don't want your child to be perfect. That's too much pressure. What you want your child to do is, before they do something imperfect, before they do something that they know they ain't got no business doing, you want to be that little person on their shoulder saying, looking at them like, hey. You want them to have that conscience. You want to be their conscious. See, when my kids were growing up, I had in my mind, I was thinking, it's not my job to catch them doing something wrong all the time. It's not my job to catch them. Some parents just be like, I'm gonna catch them, catch them, catch them, catch them. No, it's not my job to catch them doing something wrong. It's my job to be their conscious when I'm not around. And how do I do that? I let them know what I expect from them. And I let them know that they are loved and they have options. I give them the game. I tell them what's right, what's wrong, and let them know what the choices are. These are the choices, and these are the consequences for your choices. Whether you make a good choice, these are the consequences most likely. You make a bad choice, these are the consequences most likely. And then I reinforce that. When they do wrong, they are penalized. They are punished when they do wrong. When they do good, they are rewarded. I do not reward bad behavior. Do not reward bad behavior. If you go out there and mess up, you do something wrong or whatever, there has to be consequences. Sometimes consequences are more severe than others, but there has to be always consequences because that's the way the world works. That's the way life works. Anytime you go out into the world, whether you be on your job or you're in public, if you do something wrong, even if you violate a traffic law, there's consequences for that. In life, there's consequences. If you raise your children to think that there are no consequences to their actions, they're going to go out there with a false sense of what the world is like and what they're owed, and they're going to go out there with a sense of entitlement, and they're going to get their heads knocked off. So my job is not to catch my kids, was not to catch my kids doing something wrong. My job was to be their conscious. And my job was to catch them enough. Catch them when they try to, when they do wrong, catch them enough to where they had some doubt about doing wrong. And they could have a sense of pride and understand that, look, okay, ooh, man, I'd rather do right than face my daddy. I don't want to hear his mouth. I do not want to feel his wrath. So let me do right. Now, they did a few things. They did a few slick things that I'm just finding out about. And that's okay. That's okay, because I didn't expect to catch them doing wrong every time. I didn't expect them. I didn't expect to catch them doing. I didn't want to be that. I don't want to be no helicopter dad. Never wanted to be that dude. I just wanted to let them know I'm present. I'm present. I'm available. I'm here. I'm in your life. I'm right there. So I give you the game, and you can go out there and play the game a different way. If you fall on your face, you will never be able to say I didn't tell you so. You'll never be able to say I was not there. You'll never be able to say you didn't have support. You didn't have love. So that's on you. I think that the mom had the right answer. Look, we're going to get through it. It is amazing how parents can be right inside of the house with their children and not know what's going on. That girl said she didn't know she was pregnant until she was actually delivering the baby. She didn't know she was pregnant until the baby was coming out. I know some women be like, damn, I wish my pregnancy would have been that easy for me. You know what I'm saying? Like she didn't have no cramps, like no no discomfort, or belly didn't get bigger, none of that. She didn't know. But I've heard a few women say that before, that they didn't know that they were pregnant until they were actually having the baby. That's wild to me. That's crazy. But I think they're gonna get through it. They seem like the mom seemed like a loving mother, and the daughter seemed like a good girl. She seemed like a good girl, even though she did what she did. Hey man, we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. Ain't none of us perfect. So, you can still be a good kid and do something bad. You know, you can be a good kid and do something bad. And so she did something bad. She did something that was inconsistent with what her mom instructed her to do, and you know, and now she's gonna have to deal with it. But I think they'll get through with it because, hey, at the end of the day, as long as that relationship that they have is rooted in love, love is the foundation, they're gonna be all right. If mama make it about mama, then there might be some problems. But I think they're gonna be all right.